My friends, welcome. I found it interesting to see Reuters ask the question today, are central bank digital currencies an idea whose time has come? Indeed, though, this is more of an announcement than an actual question to readers. As you can see, many banks around the world have been working on this for some time, from the UK, who has perhaps the best named cryptocurrency with their Britcoin, to the US, who is creating a innovation center within the Federal Reserve to explore a digital dollar, to the ECB, who's working on a digital euro, to China with their digital yuan, to Canada, who this week is talking about the need for a loonie-linked digital currency, to Switzerland, who's already tested one and is ready to launch it in January. Just if you look at the dates, just this week, as Reuters is talking about, is it an idea whose time has come? Tanzania is making plans to launch it. The Bank of Indonesia is ready to launch a digital currency as a way to fight cryptocurrency. Yeah, sure. Jamaica, again, just today, we're going to launch a central bank digital currency because it's more inclusive. That makes people feel warm and fuzzy, doesn't it? India, not going to use Bitcoin. The Bank of India is working on a central bank digital currency rollout. Japan is also working on one over there. The Bank of Israel is working on a digital shekel. Yeah, and on and on and on. In fact, according to the Reuters article itself, we read that a survey from late 2020, right, last year, 86% of global central banks were already looking into launching their own central bank digital currency. And as of July, 56 central banks were already talking openly, publicly, about these efforts. So there are two questions that I think stem from seeing every central bank in the world launch at the same time a digital currency. One is, who is pulling the strings behind the scenes, evidently in control of every money supply in the world, right? And if you look at the ownership of the central banks, that question is actually easy to answer. The more important one, and the one I want to try and look at tonight, is what is the goal of this? Why is this something that is clearly baked into the agenda for control around the world? And to answer that question, I want to look at Guadalajara, who has just finished launching their own local digital currency. Let's do that. I'm Christian, and this is the IceAge Farmer broadcast. And here from MexicoNewsDaily.com, we read that Guadalajara has launched a digital currency used for payment of goods and services in the area. A new digital currency can now be used to pay for goods and services and participating businesses in the Guadalajara metro area. It's pegged to the Mexican peso. It's called the Huzi, and it was officially launched about a month ago in mid-October. Citizens can obtain Huzis, which are a blockchain-based digital currency, by downloading a Huzi app on your cell phone and then carrying out certain activities that benefit their communities or the environment. So already we see this is tied directly into the ESG push and the desire to control people's behavior right out of the gate. Huzis can also be earned through the use of public transport, running and cycling. Riding a bike for 30 minutes, for example, earns a Huzi app 10 Huzis. People get 50 Huzis if they sign up a friend to the app, and 100 if they sign up a business. So, just to pause briefly, we see that this Huzi, this digital currency, is actively trying to shape people's behavior by literally giving them money to do certain things. If you ride the bus, we're going to give you free pesos. If you go running, we're going to give you money. This is not just behavior modification for the entire population, but it's also a form of universal basic income, all rolled into this rollout. Now we start to get some insight into why every government in the world is doing the same thing at the same time, which maybe you can make some argument, I would think, not with any integrity, that every government doing the same thing as far as lockdowns in response to a pandemic, maybe that could have been organic. But this is clearly contrived. This is clearly being driven by some central authority. Continuing, quote, when people use the digital currency to make purchases, 4% of the value of the transaction is returned to you in Huzis. Oh, here's a discount for using the digital currency, right? Again, free money to use this new system instead of those pesos and don't use cash anymore. No, We're not even going to outlaw it yet. We're just going to give you free money for using it. The whole project cost under $60,000 to develop, which tells you how easy this is for them to launch. About 1,800 people downloaded this Whozy app, and more than 100 businesses have already signed on as providers to be using this, because even they get 500 pesos, Whozys, just for being for accepting this new digital currency. So we're gonna bribe you to use it. We're gonna bribe the businesses to take it. Eventually, if it's a central bank, you just outlaw all other cryptocurrencies and you do away with cash. Eventually, they will be more heavy-handed about this. But for this initial rollout, it's just we're gonna sort of bribe you to do this. Here is the homepage of this project, whozy.io. It talks about how you are going to be rewarded for living in your own city. Again, a hint of this behavior modification. Every time you buy at a registered shop, you'll immediately receive 15% of your total purchase in Whozys. So the more you use this digital currency, the more free money you get. Again, it's a bribe. They're bribing people to use this system that is ultimately a form of enslavement. And let me just point out, you don't even need a social credit score if your central bank is forcing you to use a digital currency which is going to modify your behavior for you, and furthermore, which can just be turned off with the flick of a switch. Never mind cash, that was yesteryear, that's gone now. And here from whozy.io, they even mentioned that we're going to start measuring the social impact of your business, letting you know that they're collecting data on your activities, and they're going to tell you if you're exceeding your bounds. So what does that look like when you scale up to a central bank digital currency? Well, we can look at some of the things that are already being implemented. You've heard, I'm sure, because I've mentioned it in the past, of Doconomy and some of these other credit cards that purport to measure your carbon impact as you spend money. So if you buy meat at the supermarket, your carbon score goes up quite a bit. If you buy some celery, not a big deal. And it cuts you off. Never forget the dollars, right? Forget the currency. It cuts you off when you exceed your carbon. So it's not just how much money you have, it's how much credit for carbon you have. It's how much whatever arbitrary impact the technocrats wish to impose. The central bank digital currencies are the perfect medium to control every aspect of your life. Don't take my word for it. It doesn't just stop at this carbon credit card. You can see other digital currencies like Sweatcoin, which tries to encourage you to exercise, or SoberCoin, which rewards you for being sober, or Clinicoin, which calls itself an open source wellness platform rewarding users with crypto for engaging in healthy activities, like the Whozy, right, when you ride the bus or go running. Here's a little bit more on the Clinicoin, talking about the first baby to be born on the blockchain. Quote, logging this information on the blockchain enables healthcare providers to incentivize, control your behavior, to incentivize healthy, proactive pregnancy behaviors. For instance, if a patient shows up for all of your prenatal appointments, maybe you receive a digital asset representing an umbrella, which you can then go redeem for an actual umbrella at a shop. Incentivizing healthcare at this special part of a woman's life gets her through the door, generates data, again, there's the key, and presents that data back to the woman, empowering her to make better decisions around her health and her baby's health. It also empowers your insurance company to raise your premiums if you don't behave correctly. Or, for example, if you purchase unhealthy food, your premiums can go up. And maybe you even lose your SNAP cards, your EBT cards, your food stamps. Here's an example of how your social benefits can be tied to your behavior. If you have a healthy eating incentive down here at the bottom, when you purchase healthy food, it all flows back to the government, who's monitoring this and who can continue your social benefits or cut you off if you buy a candy bar. It is an astounding degree of data collection and control over everyone. And that's why Reuters is saying, yeah, this is an idea whose time has come. That's why this is being launched at a ferocious speed by nearly every central bank in the world. that, and they're all owned by the same people. So if you were wondering why every country in the world is looking at launching this right now, or if you have friends and family who are seeing these kinds of headlines but aren't as plugged in to ESG in the way that this is all a massive control mechanism, then I hope this video can help them understand. And if you want to go deep